Hi, my name is Nick.
Derek.
Andrew.
Josh.
And Kevin. And we are the 3D bioprinting systems for organ transplant group.
So I'm going to go over an overview of the IS and the IT systems involved in 3D bioprinting. So the first is the information systems used, and the information systems would be the files that the cells are loaded onto, as well as the scanned organs. And then the information technology used would be the original 3D printers that were the first step, but then they developed 3D printers that work specifically to print organs. The process of the technology used to print organs is the first thing they do is they take a CT scan of the organ. The next they do is they come up with the tissue and the cells, they load into files for use on the printer. After that, they then disperse the files into layers of the cells on the sheets. After that step, they add a hydrogen-based water gel to the cells, and they do that layer after layer after layer. They then let the cells culture and mature until the point where the cells congeal together, and then at that point, the hydrogen gel is stripped away and dissolved, leaving just the brand new organ.
So let's talk about the timeline development of 3D bioprinting. First, in 1984, Charles Hall basically created the first 3D printer where he was able to print tangible 3D objects. In 1996, Dr. Gabor and colleagues observed that during the embryonic stage, cells stick together. In 2000, the first human patients underwent urinary bladder augmentation, which was basically adding a patch of skin to the bladder. In 2002, the first small working kidney was printed and was successfully put into an animal. In 2003, Thomas Boland's lab at Clemson modified an inkjet printer for the first time to be able to dispense and print cells. In 2009, Organovo created the NovoGen bioprinter, which was the first production bioprinter anyone could buy. In 2012, a more complex organ, the artificial liver, was created using a syringe bioprinting device. In 2014, scientists were finally able to integrate tissue printing fabrication with vascular printing methods and basically create more complex organs. Currently, we are still working on being able to print more complex organs. It's been 5 months since bone fragments created on a 3D printer were implanted into rats, and the tissue is still thriving inside of the rodents' bodies. The hardest part for scientists currently is to allow the printed tissue to survive long enough for blood vessels and nerves to form to be able to fully integrate with the human body.
Traditionally, the way 3D objects are printed is done in a way where raw materials are extracted and they're put together in a certain manner or form in which the 3D object is created. In a medical use, it's a little bit different. Scientists extract the cells from biopsies or stem cells and then put those cells in like a dish, and the cells multiply over time. Once there's enough cells that have been grown, they are fed into the 3D printer where they are printed into certain shapes, whichever shape of the organ is or the tissue. And the hope is that this 3D printed tissue will work together with the existing tissue in the body and generate life for the future cells. And pretty much they hope that these organs will survive in the human body. And this type of medicine has already been saving lives of patients who lack certain organs in their bodies. For example, a 2-year-old girl from Illinois was born without a trachea. So these doctors 3D printed a windpipe to put in her body.
So as with any new medical innovation, there's obviously going to be costs involved. So the lowest cost is for a kidney print. That's at around $262,000 at the end of the day. And the highest we see over at $1 million with heart printing. Obviously, the more complex the organ, the more expensive it's going to be. The good news is that these costs are expected to decrease because as the demand goes up for these items and as new processes are evolved and technology is improved and more efficient processes come about, the cost will obviously go down. A bioprinter back in 2009 would cost you around $15,000. And just recently in 2013, the price was driven down to $500. As you can see from the chart in the bottom left, as the demand for kidneys goes up, the price for them has gone down. Although the bioprint may cost a lot up front, there's definitely benefits to paying for it. Transplants may cost a significant amount, but the alternative costs are factored in. They are a better option. Just for an example, if you have diabetes or other diseases, dialysis treatment costs about $55,000 to $75,000 a year, and treatment alone with all of the medicine and all of the technology you need to treat your diabetes and monitor it can cost around $6,000 per year. So just to add up the minimums there, you're at $61,000. Now, kidney transplant total is at $262,000. So it pays for itself in just 4.3 years once you consider all of the money that you're paying for the treatment alone. There are plenty of other benefits to the bioprinted technology. As years go on, the number of people on waiting lists for kidney transplants and other organ transplants are going to increase, but the number of donors available will remain the same. So we have a growing demand for these organs, but the stagnant supply remains low. The anticipated increase in printing speed of organs will solve the supply problem and save lives. Just to give you some numbers here, back in 2005, 1,848 people died waiting for a liver. So this technology and the bioprinting can really save lives.
There are multiple risks associated with 3D organ printing, both physical and ethical. Involving physical risks, your body can reject the organ. This happens a lot of times with real organs as well, so it's not strictly 3D organs, where assuming you needed a new liver, if you got a liver transplant, either a 3D organ or a live organ, your body could reject it and you could just still be in the same place where you need a new liver and your body's not functioning the way it's supposed to. The other concern is ethical concerns, where people could be against the use of artificial means of medicine like 3D organs, and it could also disrupt the natural order of things. At the bottom of the slide, there's a photo of Westworld, which is a TV show on HBO, and basically they have an entire virtual reality associated with 3D printed humans. So also, you never know what could happen when we can create 3D artificial humans out of the organs